I talked earlier about how workflows are automations, and sometimes we have to be able to manually manage those automations by removing people or putting them into an automation. This allows you to really do a lot when it comes to automation. When you go to contacts on the left side and you're inside of a contact, let's click a contact. We'll select our test contact, and inside of the contact on the left side in the middle bar, you're going to see right here where it says campaigns and workflows. You can see any active campaigns and workflows that they're currently in, and you can see workflows that they've been in. This is really important when it comes to trying to figure out what happened in the automation, if something went wrong, and how the automation is going. Now you'll see right here on this demo contact, we've got 3 active workflows going on and we've got 1 test workflow. We can easily come in here and select add. And when you select add, just select the drop down of the workflow that you want to put them in. And you can schedule that date here as well, the date and time, and you can add them to a workflow at a specific date and time. So let's say I had a campaign running. I wanted to set this for a few days later at, we'll say 2 o'clock. We'll go ahead and add it. It's been added right here to the workflow. Now, there's some little bitty icons here that a lot of people overlook. If you're looking at a contact and you see the workflow, check this out. All I gotta do is put my mouse over this little bitty tiny workflow icon. There's 2 here. There's the workflow icon and the delete. The workflow icon will take me to the workflow that they are currently in. And you'll see right here, it took me to the execution log, showing me where they're in, showing me that they're in a wait step. And let's look at this builder right here. And when you look down here, I told you about little icons where you can see where people are in a wait step. And right here, when I zoom in, you'll see this little person right here, and you would see a 1, a 5, a 20, and how many people are in that step. When you click it, you can see the actual action, the person that's in the step, and the status. So when you're looking at them, you're like, oh, nope, they're supposed to be in here. Then we're good. So when you click actions, there's a little delete button here, but you need to be careful. If you select delete right here from the execution log, it's going to remove all the contacts from this step. We don't want to remove all the contacts in this step. We just want to remove 1. So right here, you can remove all contacts. You can move all the contacts to another step right here where we can say, are you sure you want to? And right here is where you can force them to the next step. We don't want to do this because let's say we had 10 or 20 people here. What we want to do is just remove the 1 contact that we on the list. When you click on this, it's going to take you right here to the contact. You can see where the contact is. It'll show right here that they're in the wait step. You can view the details here. You can also see the execution history and the contacts history. We don't want to remove them from here. You see how it's just giving you the execution logs. What we want to do is enrollment history right here. This is where you can remove the contact from the workflow inside of the workflow. Not execution logs, that does it by bulk and everybody in step, but in the enrollment history. So if we want to remove this contact, all we have to do is click this button and it will remove them from the workflow. So you can do this inside the actual workflow. Just make sure you are under enrollment history and you are selecting the specific person. Now, if you're on the phone, we talked earlier about manual actions. We don't always know exactly what's happening. But if we go back into the contact, on the contacts tab right here, this is where we can select the delete button to remove them from here. A great example. I'm on the phone. They just bought. I don't need them in this campaign anymore. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. It's going to say, are you sure you want to remove them from the workflow? Yes, I'm sure. It now took them out of active and put them into the past workflow. And at any point, you can do the same thing with the past workflow. You can select the little workflow icon and it's going to take you back into that workflow to show you the execution logs of where that person was, when they entered, what steps they skipped, and when they finished. So you can easily look at your execution logs or manage it right from the contact by adding them or removing them from a campaign. Another great thing to have is a cheat sheet about your process. If a workflow happens and they are done with this workflow, does your member of your team, based on your process, need to add them to another workflow now that they've created this workflow? In which case, we just go back to the add button and we can add them to that second or third or fourth or whatever option workflow you want them to be in after the specific campaign or a workflow. We like to have pipeline workflows for sales, service, and support. Sales being when we make the sale, service means what happens after the sale, and support means ongoing email. Could be a newsletter campaign. It could be another nurturing campaign. Could be an educational campaign about a product or service that they purchased. So if you're on the phone with the person and they purchased a product and that specific product has a campaign, an automation workflow, you can go in and add them to that product automation workflow, allowing you to add them to any campaign and removing them from any campaign manually right from the Contacts tab. Automation workflows are fun. Test it on yourself. Come up with certain scenarios. You're really going to enjoy the triggers, the actions, being able to add and remove people, and easily manage workflows. It's now time for you to create your workflow puzzle with your business and set up workflow automations that work best for you, that are going to save you lots and lots of time. Once you get this all set up, you'll be saving thousands of hours in time management just by adding automations and workflow processes to your automation workflow.